Welcome to the Man Cave Podcast with Dan Casper.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Man Cave Podcast, brought to you by Hy-Vee and Toyson Ford. Don't forget to check out the Swag Cave, the Resonance branding company Swag Cave. That link is in the podcast description. Kind of like a special episode of the Man Cave Podcast because I also do the Rollin with the Golds podcast, the UW-Eau Claire Blue Golds podcast with Nick Hoven. Check it out, follow it, subscribe it, because we chat with coaches and athletes and administrators every week from UW-Eau Claire, especially for Blue Gold Athletics. And I want to play the conversation we had with three members of the Blue Gold football team, three wide receivers, because it's such a fascinating conversation. Three young men, three different journeys, three unique journeys to where they got right now, three amazing backgrounds. And to hear them talk about it, it was a fascinating conversation. It was a fun conversation, too. We had some fun on there, too. But the best way I can describe it, so a little kind of a thing about me whenever I do an interview or whenever I have a conversation with somebody and it was just like, man, that felt like a really good interview, or you feel good about something like that, I get pumped up. And I was pumped up after this one because the best way I could describe it is listening to those three. It reminded me why I love sports, why I have a love for the game, and why so many other people have a love for the game. So you can listen to the full episode of the Rollin with the Golds podcast on your favorite podcasting platforms. You can check it out. But this was the conversation I had with these football players, and I wanted to give it a little bit more attention because I thought it was absolutely fascinating. So for this special episode of the Man Cave Podcast, an episode from the Rollin with the Golds podcast. All right, we're back with the second half of this episode of the Rollin with the Golds podcast, and we've got a wide receiver room, Nick.
That we do. Yeah, we got, I don't know if they have a nickname. Do you guys have a nickname?
Nah, we don't yet.
Three Amigos?
Not one that we can say on.
Yeah, oh, jeez. Well, that's pretty much the intro for you. So we got Franko Williams, Isaac Garside, and Yaach Chuol joining us here on the podcast. Like Dan said, three wide receivers from Blue Gold football team. Each have different backgrounds and unique stories and how they got to Eau Claire. But three guys that really have bought into this culture that head coach Rob Erickson has kind of set up, and each in their own way have made an impact here this season. So, gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's kind of start getting a little background on all of you. We'll go left to right and kind of work it this way, but kind of where you're from and how you got to be a Blue Gold.
Yeah, so I'm from Waukesha, Wisconsin. It's probably about 20 minutes outside of Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Grew up there, basketball, football, track, the whole deal.
Yep.
And I took when I got to high school, I really took the custom to football. I thought I was going to be, a basketball player. And then high school came and, football was kind of working for me. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, we're going to play football. Junior year, senior year, had a good year. Out of high school, I ended up actually going to Northern Michigan.
Okay.
And I played there for half a season, and then it didn't kind of work out for me there. Mm-hmm. So I, I'd seen Eau Claire, prior to going, to Northern Michigan, and, I'd kind of already had a liking to it. Mm-hmm. So I kind of decided to go all in and head first, dive here to Eau Claire, and nice. I think it's the best decision I've ever made in my life, to be honest.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, next up.
So I went to a extremely small town growing up. I moved around before I got to high school quite a bit. But I went to Bondwell, Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
It's over by Green Bay,
yep.
small town. It was kind of weird going into high school, a new school, not really knowing anybody. Mm-hmm. And then, I kind of, freshman year, I was like on JV, and I ended up actually quitting football. It just wasn't working out for me at that time, and it was pretty upsetting. And then about a month after the football season, my grandma passed away, and she was probably my biggest fan. She was always at all my games. She was my biggest supporter. So I think that was kind of like a sign for me to, jump back into football. Mm-hmm. And then I did. My sophomore year, I just played a little bit of defense on varsity, didn't really get many varsity snaps on offense. And then going into my junior year, I was doing really well in all my other sports. I spent a lot of time in the weight room and training and whatnot. And my offensive coordinator in high school, Dave LaBarge, created a wide receiver position in our offense because we ran the wing T. So we went to like a pro-style spread offense, to be able to get me on the field on offense. And, the rest is history. I had a really good career in 2 years on offense at Bondwell. I set the receiving record for, yards, touchdowns, receptions, all that. And I actually didn't plan on playing college football. I had some injuries and whatnot, and that same coach, Dave LaBarge, came up to me after the last game when we played at Colby. He put his arm around me and said, don't ever give up on this game. And after he said that, I was like, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, this my grandma wants me to do. Like, this is what I was put on earth to do. So then out of high school, I didn't come to Eau Claire. I'm not going to say where I went because we're going to keep that out of there. But I dropped out of college, was dealing with some stuff, some personal issues, and went through quite a bit throughout, that year that I left school with COVID and all that stuff. And I just really wasn't doing what I wanted to do in life. I felt kind of lost. I wasn't really sure, where I was headed. So one of my buddies, my quarterback in high school, actually played at Eau Claire, Parker Bohm. And he said, just reach out to our coach. Like, you can come stay with me for the weekend. Just, come and see Eau Claire, what it's all about. So I did, and, I had a good talk with the former head coach that was here. And, he said, yeah, come in the spring and, try it out. We'll see what happens. And, the rest is history. I mean, that was the first part of my career. Now with, Coach Erickson here, it's like, I've had a really solid career. I've had a lot of good teams built around, Eau Claire. And, I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here in Eau Claire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So for me, I'm from Coon Rapids, Minnesota, so pretty close to Minneapolis. From my playing career at high school, so I started 6th grade, which is kind of late for a lot of people. But in high school, I was really undersized. Always that 100-pound kid, fast, but I couldn't really do much. So I was playing JV until my junior year. Then my senior year, I was playing both. I was varsity for a little bit. Ended up getting benched and playing JV about halfway through the year. So I was playing JV as a senior. And after that, I knew I was going to play college football regardless. It just depends on who would give me an opportunity. And during that time, it was COVID, so there was a lot of programs shutting down. There's a lot of schools that didn't know who they wanted to recruit yet. So I was just trying to get my name out there, and there's a lot of schools that pretty much telling me no. So I ended up going the JUCO route. So I went to Rochester Community Technical. Shout out RCTC. I went there, and they gave me an opportunity to play. So I went there as a freshman, and I got paid doing that pretty much. I was just making my money doing that, playing receiver, the running back combo. So from there, I had a regular freshman year, but that sophomore year, we had a new coaching staff, and I just took my leap there. I took a huge leap. I was getting offers from all around, D1, D2, D3, didn't matter, NAIA. So I just had opportunities. I just did what I could, and from there, I committed to Grambling State University, and I actually got that offer. It wasn't really pulled. The coach moved away, so it was something like that. It was like, we're not going to have an opportunity for you to play. Decommitted from there, committed to Eastern Illinois. So I went there, spent some time over there, and it's just some things just aren't for you. And I hit the portal, and Coach Dunn hit me up first. And then he connected me to Coach Puck and then Coach Erickson. And then I just saw what these guys were the trajectory they're going to. And they were bought in. Talked to Isaac and shout out LT, Landon Tonsager, on the visit. And I just knew this was a place I wanted to be. I had a guy I played with in JUCO actually play here right now. Shout out Jake Carmichael. And him being here made my job easier. It made me definitely have, be a little more welcomed in. Just because you know somebody, you want to go somewhere where you just don't know where you're going. So from there, I came here last semester, and it's been great ever since. We've been climbing, and we're going to continue climbing.
You were right, Nick. That's a lot of really interesting background stories to where you got from here. What's it been like so far this year with your season, and what's it like playing under Coach Erickson? Because we've chatted with him, a lot of energy, a very passionate type of coach. What's it like playing for him?
So obviously coming from a completely different program and now to here, the experience I've had here has been honestly incredible. Like prior to this season, and especially this season, it kind of means a little bit more to me because prior to, like reporting for camp, like I was this close to being done playing football altogether. And what kind of brought me back was not only Coach Erickson and how he, treated me throughout the spring, but also all the guys here too. And like I said, that's why this season is just so special to me because, again, I was that close to just being done with it, and who knows what I'd be doing right now. But the culture here and what Coach Erickson is building, I think is something very special. And I see the trajectory of this program only going up and up and up and up, and eventually we're going to get to that point where we finally reach the top of the mountain. And whether that's in my time here or it's after, I'm glad that, not only myself but everyone else is a part of it. And the community itself in Eau Claire is also seeing that climb, and I think that's something incredible.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I went to a different school prior to here, so I got to experience that coaching staff. And then when I got here, it was a completely different coaching staff except for Coach McHugh. So, I got to see what, college football is like, and I'm appreciative of the time that I spent with that past coaching staff. They put me in a lot of good positions. I had a lot of fun doing that. But then when Coach Erickson got here, it was kind of like this eye-opening moment for me. I was like, this is what college football is. It's we're building a team. We're building a family. So I don't know. It was pretty eye-opening. And then for my sake, this is my last season here. So I only get to experience being a part of the team for 2 seasons, and then seeing the growth from last year to this year, not just like on the field stuff, but off the field. Like there's guys that, I didn't really talk to that much on the team that I took that leap, and I was like, yeah, like, being a part of this team means that you need to like love and support everybody on the team. And, I've grown a lot closer with a lot of guys. I've really taken that leap because before that, I was really kind of that loner. I was just gonna, I was gonna train by myself. I was gonna do all of these things by myself. But now it's like, I go out of my way to, be around these guys because, I want to take it all in, for the time that I'm here. So, yeah, it's been quite the transition, but it's exciting to see the climb happening.
For sure. Playing for Coach Erickson is truly a blessing. It's not every day you can play for a coach that thinks like a player, that wants to give you the motivation every single day, and he's just as relentless as the players are. I think the biggest thing that I love about Coach Erickson is he's someone I can just go into his office and we can just talk no matter what. We can just talk about what's going on. We can talk football. We could talk NFL, college, doesn't matter. And he has championship DNA. So coming from South Dakota State, he knows what it takes to be a competitor. He knows what it takes to be a champion. And that's the standard he holds us to every day. Even on our best days, on our worst day, the message is still the same. The climb continues. And for me, that's huge. And especially for a receiver room that we have to understand, although we always feel like we're going to be the best on the field, not every day is going to be up to our standard. And he's always going to hold us to that. So I definitely love playing for Coach Erickson.
Was it you, Franko, Northern Michigan?
Yeah.
Were you there when Coach Dunn was there, or did you guys intertwine
a
little bit?
Initially, Coach Dunn recruited me for he was like that staff left in January, I think.
Okay.
And so I came up for a visit, and Coach Dunn was there, and I connected with him. And I was really excited, actually, to get to working with him, and that was kind of another reason that brought me to Eau Claire, him being here.
So what's that? Because he's got Big Ten pedigree, too, with the Badgers and such. What's it like playing within an offense that you guys are putting up a lot? I mean, you guys are coming off of a 41-0 victory over Homecoming. Nick and I have talked about, the offense so far this season. For a wide receiver, you guys got to be enjoying this style of offense right now, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially coming from the offense I came from, it stepped up a level of complexity, but I enjoy that because it puts us in positions to showcase our strengths. And Coach Dunn always finds a way, to get us the ball and finds a way to again put us in the best position that we can be in, that our strengths, cater to that. Mm-hmm. So I love playing in this offense. I mean, it's the most fun I've had playing football. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, it was quite the transition from, for me, the last offense to this offense. It is definitely more complex. It takes a little bit more time to, get so used to it that you can go out there and play fast. But when you do, I mean, we're being put in positions where, we can excel and we can help others excel on the field at the same time. Mm-hmm. The entire offensive coaching staff, I mean, they spend countless amounts of hours, building these plans, finding ways to put us in positions to succeed. And, we're seeing the results of their hard work and, our hard work in the field. It's not just us going out there and being athletes. It's the plan that's put in place for us to go out there and, showcase who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the same boat. Playing for Coach Dunn it's fun.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's fun. His job is to get us ready to play, and he gets us ready to play every week. And sometimes the game plan isn't for us receivers to throw for 400 yards. Sometimes it calls for it, sometimes it doesn't. And he tells us right away, hey, this is one of these games where we're going to run the ball down the throat, but you guys are going to have to make plays. And that's what I love about him. The first thing he told me is, hey, we just want to get you the ball. And as a receiver, that's what you want to hear. And I think with the receiver room he has, he knows what he has. And he gives us the ball, he lets us do our thing, and then we'll hone it right back in, run the ball, and do what we got to do. So it's fun. I love playing for Coach Dunn.
You mentioned the receiver room. Kind of give us a little bit of a glimpse of what that receiver room is like. Maybe for casual fans, we see it on TV. We see these different receivers, but then we hear about the closeness of what that receiver room's like. Because you mentioned it, you all want the ball, right? You want to get as many catches as possible. But what's that receiver room like? Do you guys challenge each other? Do you have friendly competitions, or what's it like?
Our room, I think what's really unique about this room is we're all so close and we're all such good friends, not only on the field, but off the field, that stuff translates on the field, that we all have complete trust in one another, that I know Isaac's going to do his job on a play. Mm-hmm. I know Yaach is going to do his job on a play. And that allows me to not only play fast, but it allows me to play with a level of confidence because I know that, hey, this guy's going to do his job, and that's going to not only possibly free him up, but it could free me up, and it could free anybody else up in the offense. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I've really grown to love about this receiver room and this team as a total, is just how close everybody is. And it really it almost feels like I've been playing with these guys, since through Pee Wee, like it's high school again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just something that I wouldn't trade for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I think is pretty unique about this receiver room is, I mean, if you watch any practice, any game, it doesn't matter who's getting the catch. It doesn't matter who's getting the stats or anything like that. We're all, we want each other to succeed. A lot of people, they might get mad about a 2-catch, 3-catch game or, not even getting targets and whatnot. But at the end of the day, if we do our job, you'll see us all getting amped for each other to make plays. I mean, there's countless times where I remember on Saturday I ran, a route. I pulled the safety away, and I knew Franko was catching that ball. And as soon as I saw the ball get there, he caught it, and we both got up, started doing the celebration stuff. And, it's just a level of excitement that we get for each other. And I think that really shows how much we care and love each other as a receiver room. And Franko hit it it does. I've only been with these two guys for, a year or so, and even the freshmen came in, but it feels like, we are a family, and that I've been playing with them forever. I mean, it works. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I think we have the most competitive receiver group in the country, if I'm being very honest. And this, for specific examples, against Bethel, I go down, and Franko, I don't know how much yards he'd have on the year then, but he picked up the slack right away, goes in, gets 2 touchdowns, 150-plus yards, and it's not the fact that he just picked it up. He understood, hey, it's my time, let's go. And it could have been Franko, it could have been Landon, it could have been Drew, EJ, it could have been anybody in that receiver room, and they take the challenge every day, every practice, every rep. And if we do slack on a rep, we have to understand the next guy is just as good as you are. So you can't sit here and think you're just going to play Saturday. I think with our receiver room, I think it's just a lot of love in there. Even on special teams, me and Isaac are out there. Isaac, he knows he's blocking for me because I can't block a solo like that. So he knows. He says, hey, if I catch it, I might have to pitch it back to you because you're not blocking. And even on punt return, he tells me, hey, do you want this punt return? Like, do you want to go back there? I'm like, no, dude, you give me all the glory on kick return. You come have this. So it's just a lot of love in this room, and I think it shows on the field with how we play and how we throw the ball, for sure.
And how much is that leadership in that room a direct relation to Coach Puck and what, with your position coach there?
Oh, man, it's a lot. Coach Puck will let you know your job is not secure. It don't matter if you have 200 yards, 500 yards. When you step on that field, everything is being evaluated, no matter the day, no matter the practice. Then when we're in the film room, he doesn't discriminate. Everybody can get critiqued. There's no one that's above criticism. And that's what we love about him. Isaac is the most tenured guy in that room, the most accomplished in that room. And he's hardest on Isaac, which gives us the message that, hey, if he's hard on him, what does he expect of us? You know what I mean? So that's where I see it for sure.
Yeah, Coach Puck, I mean, he comes with a sense of leadership, but again, like Yaach said, he's going to come in there and tell you, hey, you might have did something great on this play, and come back right on the next play and tell you, hey, you need to do this, this, and this better. And it's not only for us to get better, but while in teaching everybody, like one person, you could be critiquing one person, you could be praising one person. He wants everybody to soak in that info so everybody can get better. And that's something that I love about Coach Puck is he's going to keep it real with you, and he's going to let you know, again, if you did something good or if you did something that needs to improve. And I think that that's directly translated to how we've all played, on the field. And I appreciate him for that, and I love him as a coach. Love him.
So I know with Coach Puck, like you're going to be able to have a conversation with a guy, whatnot, and like they said, like when you get to the meetings, like outside of that, like we're joking around, but then when meetings come, like he snaps into it just as fast as we do. Like it's time to critique stuff, and it's not always going to be pretty. Like he can get a little loud every once in a while, stuff like that, and it really shows how much he cares. And I think a big thing with him too is like even on the good things, like you score a touchdown or something, or you have a big play, like he's so like in love with the idea of like perfection. And obviously he knows like, perfection is nearly impossible to get. But, he's like, he was talking to me about a couple of the games that we played where I had, bigger games, 13 catch games. And we were talking about some of the plays that I had, and he was like, this was a great play, but, there's these things that we can still critique to ensure, like, a bigger play happens next time. So I think that his obsession with constantly getting better, has really resonated with me because, early in my career I got away with, just trying to be more athletic or, more physical than people, whereas now it's like he's honing in on those skills that, are going to take me, from where I was to where I'm going. So, I'm extremely appreciative of Coach Puck. I have a really close relationship with him. I enjoy, going to meetings. I enjoy going to practice and having him coach me. And I think that I became a much better player because of him.
Do you get that extra attention to meetings? Like you critiqued a little bit there?
Yeah, there's times in meetings where I'm like, okay.
You know it's coming or something? Or do you
there's
prepare?
A couple times in games where I'm just like, oh, that's going to suck in meetings. There's been a couple times of running down the field, and I glance over to the sideline, I could see him give me that look, and I was like, oh, yeah, he's going to take that frustration out on in meetings. But it's always, it's always love with him. So, I'm always appreciative of his notes because it holds me to that standard too. I mean, the big thing with me is, I don't have, 3-4 years left in this program. So like the biggest thing going into this season was I want to set the bar. I want to set the standard. Like I want to show, all the guys coming in, all the guys that are here, like how we practice, how we get coached, how we play. Like I want to leave something here that's bigger than, stats. So I think Coach Puck is putting me in a position where, I can give off that energy to the rest of the team.
Right. What's it like? Because for my opinion, I think you guys play in the toughest conference in Division III in the country, and especially now how everything's kind of playing out in the early parts of the season. I'm on ESPN and I'm looking at the rankings in the top 25, and knowing you guys are going up against that competition, what's it like to prepare for conference games?
I mean, we can't lack at all. Every rep, of every practice needs to have attention and detail, with it. So I think that makes us better, understanding we do play in the best division of D3 football. It's high level competition with great athletes, great coaching on both sides of the the field when we're playing. So I think going into weeks of practice where we're like, we have a top 25 team or a team that's receiving votes, we deserve to be there. So we need to do more than them. We're always trying to find ways to do more than everybody else. So I don't know. I appreciate the conference and the level of competition because it's always going to make us better. So I think you can see it when we practice. We practice hard so that games are easy.
Right.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think when it comes to preparation, you got to have short-term memory. Obviously, we just came off a great game against another conference opponent. But we have to understand when Sunday hits, it's on to the next. And I think that's something that's been instilled inside us. And especially when you're going against a great team like lacrosse, you have to just understand this is not going to be a game where you pull away in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but you got to play all four and maybe even overtime. And that's just one of those teams. And the way you prepare is the way you're going to play. And the way we're preparing is every rep has to be excellent. Even your stretches have to be excellent. And even when you're watching film, you got to be excellent. And that's all those things are going to help you get a win on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, playing this level of competition, again, there's how I look at it playing in this division is every game is a playoff game. I mean, there's no gimme games. There's no like I said, there's no gimme games. Every game you got to come into it with attention, detail, and focus because like we've seen after this first week, anybody can beat anybody. So if we come into every week with a level of detail and attention and focus to every rep we have in practice because like the coaches like to say, Coach Dunn, Coach Erickson, you don't win the game on Saturday. You win the game during the week. And in your preparation, that's when you win the game. And so that's why I think we take such focus and detail to our practices and we go so hard because, again, like Isaac said, the games are supposed to be easy. Practice is supposed to be the hard part.
Kind of going off of what you just said, too, about getting ready on Sunday, it's like moving on. I mean, you guys are coming off of a big win, 41-0. Is that the message from your coaching staff? Hey, great job, but on to the next sort of thing. Like, how quickly were you guys able to celebrate it and kind of prepare for the next opponent coming up here?
Yeah, I think like any game, we watched the film on Monday, but as soon as we're done watching that film, it's like we can't sit here and enjoy the feelings of that win because we're on to the next. Saturday night is cool. Sunday throughout the day, you have time to relax. You have time to take it in a little bit. But then even Sunday night, I mean, we're already getting film. We're already getting all the stuff that we need to start preparing for that next team. And then Sunday, or Monday, we have film, and then after that, it's done. I think as a team, I think we've done a very good job at having that next team, next play mentality. I mean, that's something that Coach Erickson instilled in all of us. It's you want to treat every play like it's your last and then, move on to the next. It doesn't matter what happened the last one. So I think we've done a good job of doing that in a game when guys selling every single play. And I think that, that's being instilled now, not only last play, but, that last game, it's done, it's over with. We don't have time to sit and soak in that win. We have to go and do the work Monday through Friday to ensure that we can have that feeling again. So I think it's just a weekly process of, that was cool, but here we go. We got more work to do, and I think guys enjoy the work, which is special for a college football team.
Absolutely.
Yeah. After a win like that, of course you're gonna go have some fun. So that's what we did. We had a little bit of fun with the guys. We just did the right things. We went out, have fun. But after that, it's on Sundays. You're just bandaging right back up. Med up, get ready to go because Monday, you're right back to it. We're going to have a practice, and we're just putting everything in motion. So when you have a win like that, it's always great. But I think in the back of your head, you're always thinking, now that's the standard. Now we have to even go harder than that because now we have another opponent that's waiting for us. And matter of fact, no one likes to make a drive to go to another person's house. So they're coming here. You want to win when you make that drive.
Yeah.
So even more motivation for them, and that's why it's harder for us, and that's what we'd rather have it. We're going to do the hard things, last play, first play, and we're just going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, I mean, echoing everything they said, like once Sunday hits, it's kind of like, that you're into the next week. You don't want to get too high with the highs. Again, we had a great win, and you also don't want to get too low with the lows. You want to find that good balance to be able to take it in for what it is, learn from it, grow, and then be able to apply it into that next week because, again, the wars are coming, and they're only going to get, harder and harder, and it's only going to get, there's only going to be more implications that come with each game, and there's only going to be more things that we're, climbing to ascend to. So, again, we got to get to that next week, flush it, and keep going.
To kind of give us a little bit of a peek behind a college athlete, too, you had one game plan, you're getting ready for the next. How hard is that to adjust or get ready for a completely different game plan on an offensive side? Or is there a lot of changes? I mean, I got to imagine it's a little bit different going up against different opponents and schemes and such, but, you're also college athletes. You got classes to go to, practice and that. How difficult is it to game plan each week, and maybe sometimes it's completely different?
I think that the coaches do a really good job during fall camp. We have extremely large installs throughout fall camp, installing literally anything and all things that we may potentially run throughout the year, so that, when, week 7 or 8 come, we have that stuff somewhere in our memory,
right.
Or when we see it, we're like, okay, this is what's going to work. And the coaches do a great job at, instilling in us, like, yeah, the first 10 days of fall camp are going to be tough mentally and physically, and that prepares us for those moments, during the season when, we have class, we have to learn new installs, we have to, go to practice and perform at a high level. I think that the coaches during fall camp, I think that's when it really starts, that mental aspect of it, because, yeah, obviously every game we play a different defense,
right,
every single week, and we play a different offense every single week. So there's going to be adjustments that we have to make, but it's nothing that's like brand new to us. It's, we run our offense. We're not going to, shift much for certain teams. Like, we have everything in that we need to in the first 10, 12 days of fall camp. And then after that, it's just, perfecting what we have in.
Sure. I think the hard part, the coaches do. The coaches do all the game planning. They do all the formations and the plays. I think for us, you just have to understand, one week you might be outside, the next week you're inside. You might have a little time in the backfield, but it's just understanding where you are in the scheme. I think that's the hardest part. But for the most part, the hard stuff isn't for us. The coaches do the hard part. We go play. We play hard.
Yeah, I think like Isaac said, in camp, we get a big toolbox of things, and then as the year rolls in, we kind of just dip into that toolbox and combine and mix and match different things together, depending on the week or the opponent. And they do a great job, at the beginning of the week, rolling it out in a way that it makes it so it's not super challenging to learn it and get crisp at it. And we run, what we're going to use that week so much that by the time you get to the game, it's second nature. And then on that same hand, when the next week comes, you're going to get that new game plan, and it's going to feel like second nature again. So, I mean, they do a great job of rolling out the game plan and getting us ready to play. Before
we get to the fun questions here, I got one more here, unless Nick wants to jump in for one. I've been hogging it, man. I apologize. So, you do have, okay. So, what does a typical day for you guys look like? You're waking up. What's that rest of that day look like for you during the season? A typical day.
For me, I get up, so if we have workouts in the morning, I'll get up at about 5, get me something to eat, drink a body armor, drive over to the school, get ready for the workout. After that, take a little nap, and then I'll go to class. I'm only going to have one class. Come up, do some homework, rehab, and practice, meetings, and I'll be here from 5:30 in the morning, 6-ish, to about 7, 8 at night. So it's a long day, but it's so filled with stuff, so I don't really think about it much.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in my last semester here, so I didn't have to have a full course load. So the school part is a little bit easier for me. I only have one class right now, and I'm doing well in it. It's not a heavy workload type of class. So for me, I get to spend a lot more of my time, with football. So if we have lifts, I get to go and lift. Then after lift, I have time before and after to, do treatment, take care of my body, because if I'm not available, I can't help the team. I do have one class every day at 11 o'clock, so I go to that. But then after that, I'm eating throughout the day, and then I come up and I get more treatment done, my prehab, rehab type of stuff, for practice. From there, we go to meetings. We have special teams, we have a team meeting, we have position meetings. We go through the corrections. We install the new stuff. Then we go to practice, and then after practice, you got more treatment. You got, take care of your body and ensure that you're as healthy as possible and you can play up to your standard on Saturday. And then I think sleep is something that, college athletes or, anybody in general kind of neglect. And that's something that, I've really tapped into, is making sure that, my sleep schedule is, sound. So that's when your body is trying to recover. So getting that 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night is something that I've really started to do, and I think it's helped me a lot, staying healthy, staying mentally sharp throughout the week. So,
yeah, similar schedule to them. On a lift day, it'd be up at 6 o'clock. 6:30 lift, and then I usually got about 2 classes at about 9, 11 o'clock, and after that, maybe eat, get some lunch, and then head those meetings and out to practice. But I try to focus on really whatever I'm doing at that time. I try to really be present in that moment and put my all into whatever it is I'm doing. If it's football, if it's class, if it's being social, hanging out with the guys, whatever it is, I really do my best to try and stay present in that moment.
Now, if anybody follows you guys, at least the teams on social media, or sees the new modifications we've made to the helmets this year, the mountain, the climb, right? It's basically the motto for the entire year. For those that might not know what that is, you guys have said those 2 words multiple times just in, this recording alone. Can you kind of just give a synopsis of what that is?
Yeah, so we have, we're always climbing a mountain, and obviously the top is, winning it all, but it's not all about, the top, it's about the climb, and so the mountain is it's like a house for us. There's stuff in the basement that makes us who we are. Like, we're gritty, we can be held accountable, we're disciplined. But I think the most important part of that entire house is that middle section. When you see that mountain, there's a little yellow rectangle in the middle, and that's love. Like, that is the front door of our program. We love each other. We are a family within this team. And then the other ones are last play, which I discussed, earlier. It's like, we're going to sell out every single play and give it your everything, because you never know when that last play is going to come. For some guys, injuries, other guys, just time runs out. So, that's the other one. And then the last one is making a difference. We want to make a difference on the field. We want to make a difference in the community. Like, we want to be difference makers, throughout our lives. And those are the things that, Coach Erickson has really keyed in on, over these last 2 years is, we're going to love each other. We're going to love each other so much that we're going to play last play every play. And at the same time, we're going to make a difference, in other people's lives. So I think it's something that gives guys, it holds them accountable. This is, it's not always going to be pretty, mountains have peaks and valleys and whatnot, and you gotta keep climbing. Like, there's going to be ups and downs, but, at the end of the day, like, we're always going to find a way to keep moving up that mountain.
For sure. I think Isaac pretty much hit the nail on the head. I think it just got instilled in us early with the 4th quarter program as well. Just always being attentive and always understanding the work is always going to come first, and you're always going to have to work. Coach Erickson he just did his thing, and he understood if he puts that base in front of us and puts that pyramid in front of us and it's climbing, we're going to do the rest. We're going to pick it up, and he's going to also help us move up that mountain. And I think that's something that you can see in our play. If you can see us play in the second half, we're always continuing to put points on the board. We're not ever getting complacent, so it translates for sure.
Now, Yaach just mentioned it. Franko, what is the 4th quarter program?
So I was a little new to it, but when I came in, it was it's kind of a mental. I look at it as a big mental challenge to us. We get up. They did it in the morning. I did one in the morning, and that was very interesting. It was a cold day out, but it's basically just again a mental endurance thing where you're doing various stations where you might be doing bear crawls for a set amount of yards, or you're doing sprints, and they're like timed stations where you're constantly moving and you're constantly going around these stations over and over, and you're doing it all as a team though, and you're doing it all together, and it's building not only building us closer because we're all going through this struggle of being up this early, having to do putting this physical strain on our bodies, but it goes back to that climb that you're going to be to get where you want to go and to climb up this mountain. You're going to have to go through tough things, and you're going to have to go through it together, and that's kind of the big thing with the fourth quarter program.
I like that. That's good stuff. All right, you guys ready for the fun questions now?
Yeah.
Or maybe the tougher ones, depending on. We'll start off easy. Favorite food? We'll go left to right.
Favorite food? I'm a big Salisbury steak guy.
Ooh, okay.
Real good. Mom makes a great Salisbury steak. I'm really missing that right now.
I think I don't want to say steak but probably either like a ribeye or like a New York strip, and then if you threw some mashed potatoes with like that crumble stuff on top, the crunchy stuff.
Yep.
Right there with some asparagus.
How do you like your steak though? That's the main question. Medium rare?
Medium rare.
Okay, good.
It's got to be a little red.
Yep.
I'm a huge African food guy.
Yeah.
I'm African myself, so I like something that we eat. It's called sambusa.
Oh
So,
yeah, yep,
yeah.
yep.
So that's what I eat. My mom will make it, so that's what I eat for sure.
Nice. Well, we got to ask it. Nick, do you want to? Should I just? Pineapple belong on a pizza?
Pineapple does not belong on a pizza.
Thank you.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, that's 3 no's.
Yeah, there we go. All right. Sorry, Nick.
My dad eats. He loves pineapple on pizza. My dad lives down south. He lives in Alabama now, and he's a big food guy. And I remember I used to think it was so weird because I remember I ate a pizza with pineapple on it one time, and the pizza was hot, but the pineapple was cold.
Yeah.
And it threw me for a loop. I just didn't understand it.
Yeah, I still don't understand it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My dad loves it. He loves it, but I'm just not my thing.
Favorite movie?
That's a tough question, but I'm going to go – I got 2, and they're both Will Ferrell movies.
Okay.
I'm going to go The Other Guys, the one with Mark Wahlberg,
Yep.
where they're the 2 cops.
Yep.
And then Night at the Roxbury, because I grew up –
That's awesome.
Yeah, I grew up – my dad would watch that movie all the time, and to this day I'll always come back and just watch it again sometimes.
Please tell me you've at least done the headbang at a bar or not at a bar or somewhere. But
I used to hit that all the time as a little kid.
Perfect. Awesome.
I think my favorite movie is probably Rocky IV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I used to love watching. I used to want to be I was a really small kid growing up, so I used to watch Rocky IV and Sylvester Stallone's just this.
Oh, he's right there behind you.
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
there you go.
But I always I think that's one of the reasons why I got in the weight room so early too. Is I'd watch all the Rocky movies and I'd see. That's what kind of got me into that fitness stuff too. So
Rocky IV soundtrack still on CD.
we
here.
listened to it at practice. I get so hyped.
Training
It's amazing.
montage,
Yep.
Burning Heart,
Come
Hearts on
on.
Fire. Yeah, man, I love it.
Okay. I'm kind of a nerd. I got two for sure. So I'm a huge Marvel junkie. So I got
Spider-Man.
Infinity War.
Oh, boy.
I like that one because the heroes don't win, which is good. I don't always like seeing the heroes win. And my other one, I'm an anime junkie too. So I like any Dragon Ball Z movie.
Okay, nice.
All of them.
Well, you just said Spider. So
I was gonna say I forgot about Spider-Man. That
who's
was
your favorite Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire.
Okay, good.
you go.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep.
If it's not Rocky, it's Spider-Man, and it's 100% Tobey Maguire. There's one guy on the team that thinks Andrew Garfield's the GOAT, but
We won't say their name.
No, we don't.
no, no. Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good choice. Good choice. If you do have some time, what are you binge watching, or what's the latest thing that you binge watch, like on Netflix or Hulu or whatever?
That's really good. Yeah.
I watched one episode of it, but it's the new it was the Menendez brothers, I think,
Yeah.
that came out on Netflix, the Dahmer, the monster, that series. I watched one episode of it and I was hooked on it, but I haven't really had much time to keep going. But I'm really excited to get into that when I do
got
have
one
time.
episode left on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
good?
It's weird. It's kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't familiar with it. I mean, I was too young, but it's like, holy crap, that stuff actually happened.
I watched that whole thing already, but
Yeah.
I'm really weird with TV shows. I only watch the same 3 shows, but I'll like rotate them,
Okay.
and I'll watch them in like.
Well, we
in
got to know
order.
who they are.
So, one is a classic, Breaking Bad.
Okay.
So I've watched that like 3 or 4 times through. The next one's Prison Break.
Ooh, okay.
I've only watched that one like 2 or 3 times. It's a little bit longer. It's like 5 seasons and they're like an hour long. But it's a weird show and it's kind of got some hate and love to it. But Dexter is probably my favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
I've watched it plenty of times through, but I definitely say Dexter's my favorite, and then Breaking Bad and Prison Break are kind of like a 2A, 2B type of thing.
Not the direction I thought you were going. I thought you were going to say like The Office and
No,
shows
I like
that,
I like watching those, but I don't know. I get hooked on those TV shows, those
like
3.
it.
So
Oh, see, I'm a nerd again. I'm not watching anime. Stay with me. The Vampire Diaries. That's what I was watching. And
My wife would love you right now. That's
that is not what I
Oh,
expected.
no, the Vampire Diaries. And the original sounded like a spin-off to it. But the Vampire Diaries, if you haven't watched it, it's a top 3 show of all time. I'm going to stand on it.
Oh, we got the DVDs at home. Don't worry. That's
Obviously top 4.
complete
It's not
series.
Breaking Bad, Prison Break,
Yeah.
and Dexter, so it's got to be top 4. We can put it at 4.
And if you are seeing this, you got to answer the question in the comments. Are you Team Stefan or Team Damon? Someone got to answer that.
Team Damon.
I'm with you on that.
There you go.
I'm with
Thank
you
you.
on that one.
Yep.
Here you go.
He's one of the best eye actors of all time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling
See,
you.
I know what I'm talking
He
about
knows
right
what he's
there.
talking about.
LeBron and Michael, though.
I'm telling you.
LeBron and Michael, though? we can't get into that. That'd be bad.
How about if you could, it could be present or past, since you guys are all wide receivers, match up against one defensive back, who would that be?
It's a great question. If I could match up against any defensive back,
Like a situation with it.
Ooh.
Like I get like 10 routes, I got to win one. Or
It's like pros versus Joe. Remember the show Pros versus Joe sort of thing? Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to say Deion Sanders. And I know it's kind of cliche, but I say Deion because he's going to talk it, and I know he's going to try to walk it, and I got to do my thing and get right. So definitely Deion.
Yep.
That's a good answer. I was something definitely that I thought of, but I think Revis would be interesting. I mean, he was
Revis Island.
yeah,
Yep.
he was the dude. So if I got one catch on him, like life would
Yeah.
be satisfied at that point. So probably just run like a smoke route or something like that. Got him.
Yeah, I'm gonna veer in a different direction. I'm gonna go Eli Apple. Yeah, I wanna have a good day that day, so I'm going Eli Apple. Yeah, I mean I've seen him have some tough days, so I think I can get him on a couple.
I love that. That was awesome. Do you guys have a favorite route you like to run?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Go vertical.
Yeah?
Especially a receiver. We like to run. Go vertical. Be the better receiver. Be the better athlete.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, everybody always loves like a deep route, but some other ones, like obviously everybody likes running slants and in routes, but we have a couple different ways to run like corner routes in this offense. We have a bunch of different ways to run it depending on where we're at on the field and whatnot. But there's like a K route that we run. It's like it's like a funny like read corner type of route, and it's something that Coach Dunn taught me as soon as he got here, and I love running it. We don't really run it very often, but it's one of my favorite routes besides going deep and giving that head top.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
I go any type of double move. I mean, hitch and go, out and up, stalk and go, bubble and go, anything like that. Because I love it because it gets usually set up prior to that point, so I know when it gets called that I'm probably this is my time right here. Like I'm gonna win this route. So it's just a different type of feeling when you got that double move coming, and it's just like I know the DB thinks that first move is he's gonna come down, shoot, and come get it, and then I'm gone. Yeah. And it's just different level of excitement.
Okay, so 2-part question now for you. Is there a wide receiver you guys like to watch all the time or try to emulate a little bit? And then second part, I got to ask, who's the best of all time?
Great question.
All right. So with me, I kind of got a weird way of picking receivers that I like to watch. When I think about like how I want to play, I'd take different receivers and I kind of like throw them in a box. I remember Floyd Mayweather talking about how he wanted to be a boxer, and he said, I'd take different boxers and I'd try to like emulate their skills.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm, thinking of, what's like the perfect receiver is kind of how I think about it is, you want to be as fast as Tyreek and you want to be as big and strong as DK. You want to have releases like, Diggs and Adams. You want to have, ball tracking skills like, CeeDee Lamb and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I, piece together, receiver. But I think if there's one guy that I really have grown to enjoy watching and, kind of want to get used like would be either Debo or Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're very versatile type of guys. Like, I want to be as versatile as possible. I want to be in the slot. I want to be outside. I want to get in there with the big guys up in the middle, doing some blocking stuff with them. So, I just want to be, as versatile as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same way. Because going back to JUCO, I played running back and receiver. So, obviously Debo for sure. But you got to look at the type of receiver you are. I can't look at Kelvin Johnson and be like, okay, I want to be him. That doesn't make sense. So, I'll look at, like, Tyreek Hill, and I'll look at guys like Cooper Kupp, guys like, I don't even know if you guys remember him, Stevie Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Buffalo,
so, Yep, absolutely. So, I'm looking at, like, Ocho Cinco, just certain guys that are good with certain things. I always try to emulate it in my game, so, for sure.
Yeah, I'm a big Devontae Adams guy, big Keenan Allen guy. I love the way they play with tempo and the way they, manipulate, certain things, and they make everything kind of look the same. And if you see they're out there on Saturdays, if you watch, like, a lot of what I'm doing is a lot of tempo. Because, again, I'm not the biggest guy. I'm not the fastest guy, strongest guy. But, I'm going to win with my feet and, leverage and, moving, making you think I'm going one way and then go the other way. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I've emulated my game. Is big Devontae Adams guy, though. I've watched countless hours
Getting
of
off the
Adams.
line of scrimmage, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, the GOAT then.
Oh, Jerry Rice. No
Jerry
question. Rice? Jerry Rice is the GOAT. I think anyone that says otherwise, they might have to get tested. I think Jerry Rice for sure.
Well, I'm coming back to you. Don't worry. We'll get there.
Oh, cool. Let's do it.
I'm stuck between Moss and T.O., but I gotta go Moss. I gotta go Moss. I love Jerry, and Jerry, he's got all the records. He's got everything, but I think Moss, the way he revolutionized the game, it's on another level. And I think if you just go eye test, you got to go Moss.
I think you hurt your teammate over there. I mean, he's got his head down the whole time. Yeah, she's like, what?
I mean, when you talk about the greatest receiver of all time, it's like there's like 3 or 4 names that always pop in your head. It's going to be, Moss, Rice, Kelvin Johnson, and T.O. But then you think about it, it's like Jerry's kind of like that, Yeah. Jerry's kind of like that. I mean, T.O. is big. Moss, like you said, revolutionized it all. But, I mean, Jerry was so ahead of his time. And, I mean, you go back and you watch his film, like, he was ahead of his time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. he was like that. Like, you see some of those leaked practice clips of him. Yeah. And it was like, that dude was, like, doing stuff that, people are just now, like, trying to figure out in game. And he was doing that, back when they were doing their thing in San Fran. So it's like, I know it's hard to say anything but Jerry, in my opinion.
All right, so here we go. A little history lesson here.
Let's do it.
Isaac, I'm a little disappointed first in you because you're Bondwell, so you're from close to Green Bay, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy named Don Hudson
Yeah.
that was a wide receiver back, I know in the 40s and that.
Yeah.
He's my guy, and I'm a little partial. I named my son after him. So he is named after a wide receiver a little bit. So I gotta give a little love to the old Jerry Rice. Yes, number one. Thank you. Gotta throw Don in.
Yeah, I can't do that. I don't root for the green.
Stop it! Don't even finish that sentence.
The green and gold. None of us root for the green.
Well,
and
I
gold.
figure he's got a Chiefs jacket on, right?
Yeah,
so
he's got the Chiefs, and couldn't get. Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. Not. Yeah. Shout out my dad.
You were even embarrassed to say.
Shout out my dad. Listen, it's just because we're going through some stuff right now. That's why. Last year at this time, I would have.
Record on repeat.
Whatever. But I'm just saying, my dad. I remember. I never really understood why I was a Cowboys fan until I went through one of our photo albums. My dad dressed me out for like my second Halloween in full-on Cowboys uniform with the Cowboys blanket behind me. And, I was just like, oh, I guess I'll root for this team. And my dad was a fan because, he watched them, win those Super Bowls in the 90s and, the Staubach stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad was like, oh, my first kid, we're going to make him a Cowboys fan. Surely they'll get something. No, they haven't. Nothing. So it's been a tough 23 years, I'll tell you that much. But, I mean, you never know. Something could happen.
Yeah.
Maybe not this year. Maybe not this year. But in the future, I'm going to live a long time.
Yeah. Oh. I always hate saying this now, but I'm a Patriots fan. So yeah, I mean,
Smells like a bandwagon.
no. At a young age, I was blessed to witness the greatness of Tom Brady, and I mean, just ever since, love the Patriots. I love some Tom Brady too. Fun fact: I cried when he retired the first time. That was a big day for me. Yeah. Love Tom. Love the Patriots though. We had our time. We're on the down right now. We got Drake May, so things are going up. I think we're looking up in the future.
Well, you say you cry. I was actually a student at UW-Eau Claire when Favre retired the first time. And I remember coming down the stairs and my roommate walks in. We just hugged. We were sad. we were sad that day. So, but then a few years later, he's still playing.
I was ready for
You were ready for Romo to go?
I was ready to get out of there. I love Romo. I love that Bryant, DeMarco Murray team that we had. But after that catch that was called not a catch.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah,
so
I was at that
you
game.
saw Des.
I saw the incomplete pass.
You saw Des. He saw Des Bryant catch that ball.
Des caught it, no doubt.
He caught it.
Didn't matter. They lost the game.
They did lose.
I just remember I was in the end zone, and I'm like, yeah, they're going to catch. And then all of a sudden, before Gene Steratore announced it, you saw everybody on the Packers sideline. So I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he said not deemed a catch, you couldn't hear him the rest of the time because everybody was just going
after
nuts.
that, I was on with the Romo. I was done with it, and I was like, we gotta move.
Right.
And then we got Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. Yippee!
Terrible.
Hey, well, we got CeeDee Lamb though. We have CeeDee Lamb.
Someone would look at it.
There's a plus side.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Well, we could go on for a long time for this, but I gotta wrap it up here with who's been the biggest influence in your life?
My family, and it's not just a singular person; it's everybody around. For sure, my mom though, and my sister. They were my mom from South Sudan. We had to flee war, flee to Ethiopia, and find our way to America. And on her way here, she didn't know English at all. So she came here, learned a new language, obviously with my dad as well, and they just gave me the best life that I could have, gave me the life that they never had. So being from a child of a refugee, she gave me the blueprint. You're not hurt. You're not going through hard times. You're injured, sure, but hell, I was carrying a kid walking 60 plus miles every day just to be safe. So she just gave me that blueprint, and that's why every day I approach the day as an opportunity, and now I have to do this. So my mom and my sisters, for sure.
Well said. That's awesome. Yeah.
I would definitely be my dad. I mean, growing up, he kind of gave me a blueprint of how I should be and how to go about things in life and how to conduct yourself. And, I continue. Again, he was another big reason I continue to keep playing because, I want to make him proud. And I know how much he loved, come and watch me play basketball, football, whatever it was. And, I didn't want to take that from him not playing anymore, especially when I still am blessed with all my abilities to be able to still walk, run, and do all that. So I was like, you know what? I may as well keep going, at least for him.
That's awesome.
So I'd probably say my grandma and then my family. Obviously, my grandma. I grew up in a kind of a weird home. It was just me, my brother, my sister, and my dad. So it was a little weird, but my grandma gave me a lot of stability. And then after she passed, it was pretty tough, and then I started, my dad kind of, I think, filled her shoes quite a bit. There was a time he's never pressured me into doing anything in my life. Like he told me once that if I wanted to walk away from football, which pretty much, was my identity and is my identity, he said that he would support it 100%. and whatever's best for me is what I need to do. But I remember there's only one time in my entire life where he was just like, are you sure, like, stepping away from football is what you want to do? And just hearing him, say that and whatnot, it was like, like he is trying to fill, my grandma's shoes a little bit with that. And, I mean, he's been extremely supportive of, me being up here playing football, pursuing my dreams of playing football for as long as I can. And, I don't think, I do a very good job at a lot of the time at telling him, how much I appreciate that and whatnot. So I think it'll be extremely exciting. He's going to come back, for the last game of the year, and I'll get to play in front of him in a blue gold jersey one more time. And I think it'll be one of those moments that him and I are going to remember. But I would definitely say him. My stepmom Ava, she's amazing. I mean, me and my dad and the rest of our family would be pretty lost if it wasn't for her. And then my brother Alex, he just went to Hawaii. He's in the Army. And my younger sister, or my younger brother and sister, she's at South Alabama, and I definitely would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for everything that they've done for me. They gave me a lot of support and a lot of stability in my life when I needed it, and I wouldn't be here without all of them. And obviously my grandma, she pushes me every single day, and I know she's with me, making me a better human every day. So
That's awesome. You guys are three amazing individuals right now, and it's been so awesome listening to your stories. And God, this is probably one of my favorite episodes and conversations. Just having fun and get to know you guys here. I mean, hell, I kind of running out of time here, but I coached second grade flag football with my little boy and his teams, and our last game's on Monday. I wish you guys could come to Carson Park and give him a little pep talk.
What time is it?
6 p.m.
Oh, we can make.
We can make that.
Yeah, we can.
It's a Monday.
Monday?
It is Monday.
We get
Yeah.
we get done around what time?
Oh, we're gonna make it
Monday?
regardless. We're gonna make it regardless.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We'll
You'll be
find a
there?
way. We'll find a way.
Oh,
One way
those kids would love
in the
hearing
stands or before. We'll find a way to be there.
Yeah.
Then if you guys don't mind, if you're up for it, if you wanted to, because they would love to just kind of
We chat with them after the game too.
Yeah.
Or
Oh, yeah.
after. If
Before
we
or
don't
after?
get there
Yep.
in time before, we'd definitely chat with them after.
that would be awesome.
Monday
you guys
at
are
6
awesome.
o'clock?
Monday, that's our championship night. So
Hey,
Oh,
Carson.
let's go.
Championship
Let's
too?
go.
Yep.
Oh, say less.
Yep.
Carson Park. All right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
We'll be there.
You
For
guys
sure.
are awesome.
Thank
For
you.
sure.
Thank you so much for
Of
coming in,
course.
guys.
Thank
and,
you.
Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you
too.
so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.